wanted to do a review for Math Lessons for a Living Education Level 3 by Masterbooks. Now, this is one of my favorite math curriculums that have worked for my child. This is level 3, and I kind of wanted to show it to you in case you have any kind of questions about it. Now, of course, you can level the levels doesn't necessarily mean the grades. So your child may be ready for level 3 and not necessarily be in grade 3. But this is the book from Masterbooks that covers, this is a scope and sequence, and it covers multiplication in the middle of the book. Multiplication by 0, by 1, by 2, and 5. And it right after multiplication, it jumps to division. And I have seen it where you learn multiplication and all your multiplication facts. And once you're more comfortable with that, then you move to division. But here, I guess they wanted to create that relationship where these two numbers are being multiplied and you get the answer, but then you can start from the answer, then divide it, and you're going to get those two numbers, as a result. So they kind of wanted to kind of pair them together from the beginning. And it's up to you if that's how you want to move forward with it, or if you want to just take your time going through multiplication and then later on taking your time to go over division. Now, the beauty of this curriculum that works for children is that I love personally because it has like a tentative suggested daily schedule. And this part honestly just helps me to kind of keep in track. It has like it's organized by week, and there are 5 days of the week that there are work for, and then you can kind of either put dates or check mark or grades or however you want to do it, but at least you have some kind of structure. You may do your own schedule, but at least you have a guideline so that you know how you want to move towards the whole year. So there's a few pages of that, and then basically the lessons are, there's like a little story about the two children, Charlie and Charlotte, and they are like the main characters for this whole book, and they kind of carry through their adventures, their travels that they're doing with their family. So the first day of the week, you kind of have a story, and then you move on to the exercises in each day of the week. I love so much this curriculum because it gives me a sense of, accomplishment every time that we finish a section. There is definitely like, you finish an exercise, you finish the week, then you're moving on to the next week. So that is something I really, really enjoyed. And as you can see, there's some opportunities for copy work, for the addition facts, as well as we're gonna learn multiplication. This is where we learn about carrying, addition with carrying, and that's there's plenty of practice for that. You still review the temperature, and you're still gonna review also subtraction and the simple level subtraction, and then the 3-digit addition. So we're still gonna go over like the months of the year, calendar. A lot of opportunities for word problems. money, a review of money, temperature, and at some point we begin with multiplication. We also go over rounding. Okay. We start with multiplication. There's a little bit of copy work here. But if you wanted to do more practice with multiplication, I recommend kind of getting this sketch pad. I got this one at Walmart. It's 70 sheets, and most people will buy this for drawing, for coloring, but I think it's so cool to just, I think I love it so much because all you get is just blank paper. This is so with math, the simple that we make things for the kids, the better. There's no lines here. There's nothing. It's just blank. So what I did was just go through each multiplication times table and just handwrite it and have your child write it down. And we just got this, so I want to take the time to do it and go over the 2 times tables, go over the 3 times tables, and then kind of mix and match from here and there until this becomes second nature. And you can also do this with addition to just get those math facts kind of memorized and rolling. But this is something you can do on the side to reinforce the math concepts, because what I did is on the side of the paper, I wrote all these extra math kind of problems to create those math drills or something. And here, this is the part that the exercises that the book had right here. But I went ahead and said, okay, let's do a little bit more practice. And as you can see, the book does it at a random order. I did it like as a consecutive order: 2 times 0, 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3, 2 times 4. Why? Because whenever you first start to learn something, or you're gonna memorize it or make sense of it, I like to just see everything step by step by step. This is kind of the progression of everything. But once the student kind of feels like, yeah, I know the 2 times table, then you can kind of scatter them and kind of make them be, to test to see if the child can recall that information. So, and then it does division. So we move on to division, and I like to kind of take my time with division and everything, but the same way. They kind of picked and choose their own numbers. I kind of wanted to do more work, more practice on the side, so that just to make sure that we're getting everything, we're making the most of the page. But the idea is, what I know now, you can have a notebook on the side and just have all the extra math practice that you need. But so basically, it's hard to find the perfect math book and math curriculum. But here's another example of me doing the division of, in some form of order, to make sure that that's kind of drilled into it, instead of it being like at random. So all kind of math books are going to have things that you like about them and things that you don't like about them. But for me, I like this curriculum. I think it's very nice. it has worked for my daughter. I can say things that I wish could have been different for me, for my particular learning style. Like you can tell, I like things to kind of flow in order and to kind of go from easy to more difficult, like some form of mastery program. That kind of makes more sense to me. But I've seen that for my child, this curriculum has worked. She hasn't had a day where she's dreaded doing math. She hasn't had a chance to dislike math from following this curriculum. So that's pretty much better to focus on that, because sometimes we think, oh, well, we need to find the perfect math curriculum. But the perfect math curriculum, if you have that perfect math book and you put it in front of your child, and your child cries and whines and dreads sitting down to do math, then it's no longer the perfect curriculum. It is, I mean, it's a wonderful curriculum, but it's not perfect for your child. But if you get your child to sit down, do their math, enjoy it, laugh, and have fun, and still, want to come back and do math the next time around, then the curriculum is working for that child. And I've noticed that for my child, the curriculums that we have used have worked for her. But if I was in her shoes, it wouldn't have worked for me, because I like everything to be a little bit more structured. But I'm glad that it has worked for her. And honestly, another definition of making the curriculum work is that if you can stick with the curriculum, because a lot of the times we're just so tempted to say, oh, we're done with this, we're gonna move on to another curriculum that's better, that's newer, that's more flashy, that's brighter. But this is a curriculum that I got. This is a curriculum that I was able to afford. Also, that's another thing to keep in mind: price. Some curriculums are more expensive than others. So this one definitely had a wonderful price that I could afford, and we've actually used it. Now, if we have kind of put some stickers, good job stickers at the end of doing the work for the day, and it has kept motivation for my child to look forward to, okay, we're finishing up, and then we get a sticker. So it's kind of like, yeah, so it is working. It doesn't always work for every kid, but it's working for us so far. So the beauty of this is, are we sticking with this curriculum and all the way to the end? Are we doing a little bit of math every day? Or if you do math 2 days a week or 3 days or on certain days of the week, are you sticking to that? Because over the long period of time, you look back and you're gonna be like, oh, my child did learn something, and as long as we stick with it every single day. So that's kind of what makes the curriculum work. We cannot say that, this is kind of where we left off. This is what we're gonna do next, but this is kind of where we left off. We're on page 231. We still have a lot more work to do. Now we are doing a lot of at random. We have some addition problems, some multiplication, some division, some subtraction, and also measurement and review of new concepts. I just love this curriculum because you pretty much have a story on the first day of the week, and the children find this story engaging. This story is supposed to go along with what you're learning, but sometimes it doesn't exactly does it, but it follows the same characters from the beginning of the book. And it helps the kids know that there is more to math than just math. There's a story. We can still imagine how the characters are traveling, how they're solving problems. You know, we can still engage with the characters and then kind of tune out from that just a second so that we can start with math. So every lesson it's going to have an exercise 1. And this is just 1 page. So this curriculum is not meant to be overwhelming. This is exercise 2. So for the next day, or you can do both in 1 day, you can go by how your child is handling this. And then there's exercise 3. Sometimes there's exercise 3 in the back page too. And then there's exercise 4 and exercise 5. So once you reach exercise 5, you are at the end of the week for that math week. And then it moves on to the next lesson, the same kind of format. You have a story and you have different exercises. I hope this has been a nice review, and I hope that you enjoy this curriculum if you decide to go this route.